So hey guys, welcome back to Stinson Farms. Hey, I got my little KBA disc, John Deere KBA disc hooked up today, and I wanted to take a moment to just go over this disc. I know that in some other videos that I had with this disc in it, there was some comments and questions about it, and I just want to go over some things with it, because it is kind of an antique, old style tillage implement, and it was basically made for specific type tillage, really different than what we're used to seeing a lot today. So I just want to look at it and go over some things about it, and I think it's really interesting. So this is it, and y'all do me a favor, don't beat my little disc up too bad. A little bit of history on the disc. This was my dad's disc. He bought this brand new with a new 2020 John Deere in 1970. I think the disc is probably a 69 model, but it could be a 70 model. And so we've had it for 52 years. Yeah, 52 years now, and it has went over a lot of ground. Many acres have been pulled, many miles, and been rebuilt several times. And it is a little rough. It needs a lot of work on it now, but this disc don't get used a lot. It gets used here at the house. I got about 2.5 acres here that I do, and I use it here for it. And there's been several years that it's set and didn't get used at all prior to me starting using it here just a few years ago. But a little bit about a KBA, a John Deere KBA disc. From what I found out, was made sometime between the mid-50s up to the mid to late 70s. Now the early version of this disc was a pull or drag type disc. It didn't have this hydraulic lift assist and packing mechanism on it. It was just a straightforward drag disc. So with that being said, this disc has everything about it the way it's designed as it did in the early days when it was just a drag disc. Of course, this disc, like we done mentioned, is 52 years old, but the earlier versions of them without the lifting assist on it was made just like this. And I come across a picture of an early version of this disc in a John Deere manual. I'll try to upload that in this video. It does not have the wheel assist on it, and we'll be able to compare to what this disc looks like to that one. So some questions about turning this disc with the wheels down, turning it in the ground. Well, it's a drag type disc, and it's made to flex, and it's made to be turned and be able to turn without doing minimum, if any, damage to the disc. That's what all this stuff in here is. It lets it give and lets it flex, and every part on this disc flex. If you see here on the front gang, it's got these springs, which all this is pretty much wore out, but these springs right here is what holds down pressure on the outside of your front gang to make it cut, but it also allows it to move up and down and float like this. The back gang, in the same way, will move up and down and float. And here is your adjusted mechanism on it. These rods right here that come over, and you can adjust these screws, which this and you can't. Everything's rusted in place. But it is that's what it's made to do. And it's also got various holes here to where you can move this piece if you run out of adjustment here. And that is made to put pressure on the outside of the disc to make the outside of the disc cut. So what this disc was really good at, in my opinion, it was made to be used in plowed ground, loose ground, and it doesn't cut that great in hard ground or untilled ground, but it will do a tremendous job of leveling in plowed ground. Now, we used this disc for many years. We raised a lot of tobacco, 30 some plus acres of tobacco, and we always run this disc here with a drag in front of our setter, and we could level the ground up just really nice. And with it being able to flex like it does, it will it'll take a plowed ground and level it out without leaving ridges at the edge of the disc or trenches. And that is what was good about using it in the tobacco patch. Now, it's not the greatest tillage tool in the world if you're taking it into a field that's not been tilled and you're wanting to cut it up. This is not for today's idea of minimum tillage. This disc was made to put behind a plow, and it done a great job at that. And I know there's probably some that'll disagree with me, but I've pulled this disc more than I've pulled all the other discs I've ever pulled combined. And you may think I'm crazy, but this is my favorite disc I've ever disced with. I can make a field just as flat and level with this thing as you would want. Of course, it's small and it's time consuming, but it's was a really good tool back in the day that it was first made, and I still enjoy it today. I enjoy using it. But that's what it is. It's a John Deere KBA disc. And oh, one other thing, if you notice in the video I had out recently with it, it was really squeaking bad, and it doesn't have a bearing out on it because it doesn't have any bearings. This disc has got what I call grease boxes. As you can see right here, they're two halves. Let's see if we can get to a better one where we can see. Yeah, this is gonna be able to see good. They're two halves that bolt together, and they bolt around a spool, and you fill that with grease, and you have to grease it pretty often, but you fill that with grease, and that acts as your bearing. Now, they're called box bearings. Some people call them box bearings, some people call them spindle bearings, some people call them grease boxes. That's just terms I've heard. I don't know what the technical term or the John Deere name for them are, but you got to use grease. And of course, when I made that video, I had just pulled it out from where it was set and hooked to the tractor, and I didn't grease it, so it was squeaking pretty good. But this one's got a lot of scrapers missing. A lot of scrapers missing. It's got a lot of scrapers that's on it that are not in good shape. It has been worked on. It has been welded on a place or two. But like I said, it has definitely got its money. We've definitely got our money worth out of this thing. It's a great little tool. I love it. I wouldn't take anything in the world for it. And it may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I love this little disc. I have no idea what this disc cost when Dad bought it. If I remember right, I think I remember him telling me he bought a 2020 John Deere. It was a 1969 model. I think the disc was the same. It could have been a 70 because he bought the tractor in 70, and he bought a two-bottom John Deere plow with it, and I think he gave $6,200 or $6,400 for the tractor and the two pieces, or the two implements that came with it. Have no idea what this disc cost on its own, but we ran the tractor for many years. The plows have been gone for many years, but the disc is still here, and I intend on it staying here. I'll be using it this year. You'll see it in some videos. But I got it out here and I got it greased up. It does need some work on it. It's got a blade or two that's in bad shape. It's got a lot of scrapers. Like I said, it's not here. It's got all these springs need to be replaced. All the adjustment rods, front and back. I need to take the wheels off of it. Got some play in the wheel bearings. Need to get new bearings in the wheels and get them packed. Everything on the drawbar and the front hitch and everything looks good. I still have the original John Deere cylinder that came on this. It is in the shed, But of course it's bad, but they're rebuildable. Just had never rebuilt it, but I'd like to get it rebuilt and put back on as well. But guys, that's just a little bit about my little disc. I know it may sound silly to some of you, but I'm really proud of it, and I wouldn't take anything in the world for it. But just wanted to share some things with you on it, and hope you enjoyed that. And if there's anything you can add to what I said that you know about the history of them, feel free to put that in the comments, and we'll talk about it. But I sure do appreciate everybody being here, and we'll see you next time.